To say that CLNV is going to go to the upside tomorrow, I would be lying, okay, you guys? But what I would like to say is that there are some interesting signals that we should kind of keep in mind here. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over some of those now. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you with a CLNV Technicals Raw Price Action and Statistical Threat of Analysis on this Thursday. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. Okay, you guys, so we are looking at the 8-hour chart right over here, right? So this is actually where I'm running a back test of volatility versus momentum. So I want to point out this as one of those signs. Okay, so first of all, we noted here that we had a very important zone of this would be considered the inflection zone, right? The invalidation zone. So we're currently making a very attractive bounce to the upside from that zone, right? So in fact, it was the last 8-hour iteration, which could have been today at about 352, right? And then that actually led on to a continuation to the upside. But that's not the signal. That's just a part of it, right? That we're bouncing within this zone. And as you can see here, that we've used this zone to bounce for some pretty nice upsides, right? And yeah, so we're within that now. Okay, so this is actually the first signal here. Please notice that on the 8-hour time frame, we're starting to get a pivot towards the upside on both the SMA 14 and the EMA 3. This is the 8-hour chart, okay? So usually this presents a very nice opportunity. So this means that it can become a statistical play, a volatility play. So anytime that you have that upside pivot paired with volatility moving towards the upside with an upside pivot and beyond the 15th percentile, that's usually in a signal that the upside is imminent. Okay, so we do have the volatility component pitched to the upside. We have the moving average suggesting a continuation of incoming disbursement of returns, right? So meaning cash inflow to the asset, right? So this is looking very attractive in the shorter time frame. So now to add to this signal here, we can also look at shorter time frames, right? So let's look at the 6-hour time frame. Please notice here that we also are getting that uptick in the volatility, right? So increasing volatility. And let's just go ahead and take a look at this right over here, right? So it looks like we still have a little bit of downside to go in the immediate short-term time frame. It's okay, right? But this is an important thing that we do have increasing volatility, right? So let's go to the 4-hour time frame and see if there's anything there. Nice. The 4-hour time frame suggesting a similar situation to the 8-hour, right? We're getting that upside pivot on stochastics. We're getting the upside pivot here on both the volatility component and the moving average, right? So now let's look at the bi-hourly time frame. So bi-hourly time frame, similar situation. We're coming out of the critical zone with an upside pivot. So now we're crossing, the volatility is crossing the moving average. So this would influence the moving average to then start correcting towards the upside, paired with an upside pivot on stochastic momentum. So what we're really looking for here is for the shorter time frames to start influencing the larger and larger time frames, right? So look at the 12-hour. It's now starting to penetrate above the 15th percentile. Of course, we still have a downside pivot here because we really want the shorter time frames to start cascading into one another, right? So the 30-minute has an upside pivot. It's going to bleed into the bi-hourly. The bi-hourly would then catch that upside pivot, then the 4-hour would catch that upside pivot, kind of like a virus, right, you guys, or even like a domino effect or a cascading effect, right? That's essentially what we want, into then influencing the upper time frames for a larger upside probability. Okay, you guys, so that's essentially what we're doing here, and it looks like CLNV could be in a healthy path. Another signal here that I caught, 12-hour time frame, you're looking at a falling wedge on a man. I mean, and this is a 12-hour, so the larger the time frame with the silly formations, the better the outcome, right? So if enough sentiment believes that this asset can move to the upside based on just formation theory, then so be it, right? We have to be there to kind of support every which way possible, right? So let me just kind of try to complete that downside there on this, right? So what you're looking at here is a rejection today from the very bottom side of this falling wedge, right? So now usually when these triangles tend to realize their direction objective or their price objective, is when you start getting to about 70 to 65 to 70% to the apex of the triangle, which we are, arguably there, right? So that's pretty nice. So let's just say that like we would break out here, maybe on either Friday or maybe Monday, right? Let's just say that it was Monday, right? We would break out from this area here, right? So we can take a trend line from the top side of the triangle all the way to the lower end of the triangle to gain that price objective, right? So in this case, let's just say, like what we said, right? Monday, let's say that we would break out on Monday, right? So the price objective here would actually take us to about 584. Okay, so now if we take into consideration a fib from the range high to the range low, let's see what that gives us. Please bear in mind that I haven't actually looked at this chart. I just prepped it just so that I can, start speaking in freestyle mode over here, right? So let's just go ahead and apply the fib there, and let's take a look to see where it takes us. Okay, so it would actually take us to the 2 fib. So the 2 fib located at 589, and this target located at 582. So it's very confluent geometrically speaking. Right, so that's very nice. So let's go ahead and continue on the analysis to the last part, and this is the RSI. Okay, so the RSI 30-minute immediate short-term time frame looks to be finding some support from that 14-day simple moving average, but that may not be done. Okay, so let me see the 15-minute just in case. Yeah, the 15-minute is still suggesting upside, very likely for the 30-minute to bleed into that downside as well. We want to look for the support somewhere, right? But as you can see, every time frame is suggesting a downside, but as you start getting into the larger time frames, you can see here that the downsides are not so significant. They're slowing down just a little bit, right? So even here on the 5-day, you can see that that downside is gradually slowing down rather than it being such a steep downhill, right? So that's usually indicative of the bears losing some strength, okay? So we have to definitely practice some patience here to see what a breakout can look like, right? So, but all the signals are starting to stack up. And just like I said, you guys, I would be lying if I said that this thing is going to rocket ship tomorrow. That's not, I don't see that in the cards here, but who knows, right? If enough sentiment believes in it, then yeah, it might as well just invalidate my thesis here and just take this thing to the moon, right? But the charts are not really indicating a retracement just yet. In fact, they're showing signs of life, and this is the first step that we want in order for us to make a very nice move to the upside. Okay, you guys, so please remember, first and foremost, that I am not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence and everything will be cool. Okay, you guys? But with that said, I wish you well a very, very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.